Welcome to the Surviving Marriage Podcast with Rufus and Jenny, marriage educators, best-selling authors, and relationship disruptors, giving you marriage education from decades of marriage experience. Here's Rufus and Jenny Triplet.
Welcome to all of our global listeners and viewers around the world. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another episode of Surviving Marriage Podcast, season 5. Whew. Let's breathe. Say some usas.
I don't need no usas.
Say some usas. Okay. I am your host, Jenny Triplet, and attached at my hip is Brother Rufus.
Why
Brother
you keep calling me Brother Rufus?
Because what am I supposed to call you? What I'm supposed
I can't tell
I can't tell the people what
Rufus.
I can't tell the people what I really call you. What I really call you, boo.
Oh.
What I really call you.
I ain't no boo either.
Okay. You ain't my boo?
I ain't no boo.
You ain't my boo?
Boo? What's boo?
Okay. See, that's why I call you Brother Rufus. Okay. So what the people can call you. Okay. All right. The way our lives are set up, y'all have no idea. First of all, we are happy. We are happy to be here for another episode of Surviving Marriage Podcast, season 5.
Show me what happy look like.
And we're happy. You don't see a smile on my face? Okay. So, and we're happy to be winding this season down, thankfully, because it's been spread out over. This is the longest I think we've ever spread a season out. But in between all of our travels, family issues, and different things,
you got me doing too much.
It's been spread out.
Somebody need to slow down around here.
Well, y'all got some catching up to do, because if this is your first time ever seeing us or coming across
Why
us,
don't you going up to a soprano note?
Yeah, you guys really have some catching up to do. Okay, because we started our podcast in 2019 and things were going great. Oh, we were doing wonderful. We were doing lovely. And then as life has it, life comes at you fast, and a series of family events, like a domino effect of family events. And we
didn't crash and burn.
We didn't crash out. That's a new saying, right? Crash out. We didn't crash out. But a series of family events, and we had to just cease and desist, stop kind of everything we were doing, just like halt, just, stop it. And, things happen for a reason. Always happen for a reason. So, we just have to say, alhamdulillah, that we are back. We are back.
Through his graces.
Yeah, we are back.
It sure wasn't mine.
But we're back building. So this is what happens when you go away for a while and people are like, okay, what happened? You disappeared and different things. So, what happened?
Disappeared? Like the Invisible Man?
We disappeared because we weren't putting out any
I wasn't
episodes.
Up under no rock or nothing.
We weren't putting out any information. We weren't saying anything.
I was putting some stuff out. They just didn't see it.
Yeah, that you want to put stuff out about the podcast, not about the podcast. But we're here to say and let folks know we're back. So with that said, we got to do a little housekeeping before we bring on our guests. Okay. If you are listening via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts, we need you to subscribe. Okay. If you're watching via Facebook, YouTube, or wherever you're watching, sometimes you get the clips. People get the cliff notes, right? We need you to follow and subscribe respectfully. That's what we need for you to do. I think we're about up to like 25,000 Facebook followers now on the Surviving Marriage Podcast page, Surviving Marriage Podcast. So I think we got about 25,000 followers, which that's pretty cool. Still now, and after you have done all of that, you've listened and, made your little notes and different things or whatever, we need you to like, comment, and share.
And go eat something.
Like, comment, and share. And we appreciate that.
Somebody might be hungry. I don't know.
That support. Okay, that's the good stuff. Okay. Now, our guest today. You gonna have to be on your best behavior. You gonna have to be on your best behavior.
Oh, me and Shaykh Yayah, we good.
Cause
I'm good.
Wait, we got a shake in the house.
Why you gotta say shake all the time?
Shake. What shake?
Shake what? What we shaking around here?
Shake.
Nobody shaking nothing.
Shake. Okay, shake. All right. Shaykh Yayah is an instructor.
Say the man's name with some respect.
He's an instructor. You better put some respect on his name, okay? You saw them people show him respect in Chicago when he was walking through Chicago. They had some respect for that brother.
Put some respect on her name then.
Yeah, I ain't got to her yet.
Well, I'm putting some respect on her name.
Can I please announce our guest?
I'm trying to.
Okay. Shaykh Yayah is an instructor of Quran, Sunnah, and Fiqh. And Sabria, his wife, his queen. I'm your queen.
My queen.
Okay, his queen is a behavioral coach. You might need that. Behavior coach. And host of the Dope Muslim Woman podcast. Now, we have been on her show. And now
she was dope.
Yeah, and now she gets to be in the hot seat on our show because it's about to get
what kind of hot? This ain't no hot bitch.
It's about to get hot. Okay, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
I sure hope.
You know, whenever I get a chance to get somebody back, right?
Disrespect my Shaykh if you want.
No, but that's my sis. So you know, it's gonna be all right. And they're coming to us all the way.
It's gonna be all. Oh, my fault.
Yeah. You bet. I told you had to be on your best behavior.
I'm always on my best behavior. Excuse you.
They're coming to us all the way from my hometown, where I was born, my old stomping grounds, the D. Okay, so let's bring them in. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Hey, welcome.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome, guys. What happened to their?
Alhamdulillah.
What's wrong? I don't know what happened just now.
We normally give our guests applause.
I don't know where it's at.
You slipping.
It's done escaped me or something.
No, I told you be on your best behavior. You already having problems. Okay.
Look, I ain't the one. I don't need to sit on the couch. I'm sure she got a couch for you over there.
Okay.
Legs up and everything.
Before we get started, I have got to get my Shaykh to give us one of those wonderful welcoming du'as. So
he gonna put the man on the spot, right? What in the? He just left the masjid.
This is his job.
In there, who?
This is what he does. He could just rattle that off.
I just said don't be messing with him now.
Just rattle it off. Like people talk sports, he talks du'as. So give us one of those wonderful du'as opening, okay?
Alhamdulillah, wa sallallahu ala rasulillah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his salah and his salams upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his family, his companions, all of his forefathers, all of his brethren, of all of the prophets and messengers, upon Allah's angels, Allah's righteous servants and bondswomen, all who follow them in goodness until the final day. And we ask Allah that we be from those who follow them in goodness and become from among those who are righteous. And we ask Allah that by Allah's mercy, and Allah is the most merciful of the merciful, and we ask Allah that He continue to bless our hosts and bless all of those who attend, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of the married couples or those intending, that they be a source of sakina for one another, and that Allah places mawadda and rahmah, as He mentioned in the Quran, that Allah places love and affection and mercy between their hearts. We ask Allah that each of these unions, as well as the members of them, be keys which unlock doors of good and locks which prevent all evil. We ask Allah to make us from the most blessed of the nation of Muhammad for the nation of Muhammad, and the most beneficial of humanity to humanity. We ask Allah to grant us to be sources of light and beacons that point to Him and His messenger and what is righteous in this time. We ask Allah that He bring us together in love of Him, visiting for Him, sitting for Him, exchanging for Him. And we ask you, Allah, Allahumma rasukna hubbak wa hubba man yanfa'una hubbuhu indak. O Allah, grant us your love and the love of those who loving them benefits us with you. And O Allah, what you give us of what we love, make it a source of strength for us in what you love. And what you keep from us of what we love, make its absence beloved to you. And we ask you, O Allah, to grant relief to all of our brothers and sisters, wherever they may be in the East and the West, particularly our brothers and sisters in Palestine, in the Sham, in the Yemen, in Sudan, and all of the East and the West. We ask Allah that by Allah's mercy, and Allah is the most merciful of the merciful, and may Allah reward our hosts and reward on our behalf the Prophet Muhammad. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi wa sallam. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
I mean,
I gotta get all of that. I feel all
now,
all
don't be,
of
now,
that.
how many
Alhamdulillah.
times you finna say, I mean?
I
I know you're finna say, I mean, about 30 times during that one right there.
You can't cut the Shaykh off.
I know you can't cut him off.
Get all
I was trying to tell you.
because he blessed us twice.
So
I told you guys, you asked for it, huh?
All of that. All right, that's it. Good night. That's it. That's the show. Okay.
You ain't got nothing behind that.
Okay. I gotta follow a Shaykh.
You better do this show, girl.
Hey, I got to follow the Shaykh.
You better do what you got
to do. My stomach hurts.
Okay, let's get the easy stuff out the way. How long have you been married and how did you meet?
My answer?
Yeah.
MashaAllah. We've been married just about 3 years, MashaAllah. And we met actually through a mutual friend who's also a Shaykh. And we met actually on a stage. I was speaking at an event, and he was also a speaker. That's kind of how we officially met. But I actually was familiar with Shaykh Abdul Kareem for many, many years because of his teacher, Habib Omar. So, yeah. That's it. Okay.
Although you're both American, this is still considered like a cross-cultural marriage. And how did you feel? How did you feel?
I wouldn't say cross-cultural.
Let me get first now. Let me get out now. Okay. How did you feel that this would align culturally? Or was there something else like a bigger goal as far as for your marriage? And I say cross-cultural, Shaykh, because even though you're American, it's still not African American. So
I am actually African American.
Are you serious?
I am.
Yeah.
Oh, my boy setting the record straight up in here.
What did you think he was?
But excuse me?
What nationality did you think he was?
Yeah, because I didn't have no thought process on it. It wasn't me.
I'll just say not African American. I didn't think any more in regards to that, but not African American. But break that down as far as you being African American.
So like many of us, alhamdulillah, we have a lot in our lineage, those of us that have been here in North America and came to the Middle Passage. So on my father's side of the family, I'm African American, and I consider myself African American, though my mother is Canadian of Anglo descent. But I grew up in the era where we didn't call ourselves biracial. So I was reared and taught that I'm black since I was a little kid. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Okay. All right. Now, as to your question, Sabria,
if his father was black, he black.
Yeah, nothing.
He's bigoted black.
Nothing about him that I read or anything like that says that he's black.
That's interesting. We gotta fix that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean,
because,
but
maybe
most
because you don't talk about it. Maybe you don't talk about it.
Know. If you know, you know. Yeah.
Right, but maybe because you don't talk about it a lot.
Maybe. I don't necessarily. What do you say? Yeah, I don't know.
I think that, can I just say that I think it also, because people have come to me and always like, and always assumed he's like Arab or Egyptian, something like that. But I think it's also like the way he presents, like, right. The
dress.
Yeah, it's like the dress and then the complexion. So you just kind of assume.
Yeah. I didn't. Even when we first met him, I didn't think Arab or anything like that. Bangladesh. I didn't think anything like that. I knew you were American.
All I'm saying,
I knew you were American.
By American standards, if you got some black in you, that you're gonna say black on the application.
But the black, the black is new. So that's what I'm saying. It's just, yeah, that part. No.
Oh, we got all kinds up in here.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, we still got to
definitely.
get to the question then. Okay.
Skip the next one then.
But even though you consider yourself to be Black, it's still a different culture. It's still a different culture. Or did you, because I'm just saying, it's some things like in
He
our
ate black eyed peas and greens
I'm
growing
just
up.
saying, it's some things in our Black culture that we just did as Black people that I can't imagine and saying that you said.
I'll put it like this. Most of my wakeful hours until I was 9 years old were with a woman that I knew as Mama Johnny.
Big Mama.
That was just my early childhood. Yeah, exactly.
That was his Big Mama.
Okay.
Yeah, we were very close. So, black eyed peas, whatever, cornbread, fried chicken, whatever. Not
Good
to be
enough
stereotypical, but I put it like this. When people got bad, I went and got the switch off the bush.
Shake got the whole culture. He got the switch. Oh, stop it.
I didn't even get the switch, to be honest.
Did you pull one of them little ones like I used to do and then had to go back and get another one?
I've seen that.
Wow. Okay. All right. So cross over to cross culture. Let's talk about the alignment. What did you look for in the alignment? I mean, we're helping people here because Lord knows the status of marriage right out here is ridiculous. So let's talk about the alignment. How did you look at that? I mean, this is a Shaykh, Sabria. Like, what did you look at?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's really an interesting question because I think it appears from people's perception, we come from two different stratospheres, two different worlds, and that definitely came with a lot of people's input initially, and still probably, but because I was known as the dope Muslim woman, and at the time when we even met, and pretty edgy and maybe in some realms considered not as conservative. I don't know. I'm just assuming. And Shaykh Kareem is quite known and has a reputation of being probably one of the most conservative scholars on the Western Hemisphere, I think, from what I've heard. And so it was very, very interesting. But I think the reason why we both connected actually is because of my field in behavioral health. And I was really interested at the time of really trying to align many of our principles that come from like Imam Ghazali as it relates to like human character and just like what far as the refinement of behavior, etc., like as it relates to the prophetic principles and that sort of traditional understanding. And obviously that's his science. So forgive us that the sun is kind of shining. But so that's how we actually aligned through the process of work and dawah. And we were kind of interested in that sort of intersectionality of both, which is like his is very traditional traditional sacred type of knowledge, where mine is more so a little bit more secular, but we were working towards aligning that, and that's kind of how we connected, mashallah. And do you have anything to say as far as alignment?
I do. Yeah, I do. So also, actually a little bit to the first point about culture, and actually it relates to our marriage. And it relates to something you don't probably realize it, but we were just talking about yesterday. That as an African American seeker of knowledge, that many times is called to serve in spaces that we might call the traditional Islamic circuit or the Muslim speaker circuit. Many times the trajectory that took was not well embedded in grassroots African American communities. And when I first came back in 2012, honestly, at that point, I was still largely serving in those types of spaces. Yeah. And then around 2018, I kind of broke out of that and, began focusing specifically on Detroit, and also wanting to really articulate what we've learned and what can be learned, meaning from others, from Allah and His Messenger and the scholars of Islam, but articulate it in a way that is very relatable to our people, and also relatable to people that may not necessarily function in those, traditional or Muslim speaker circuit type of environments. Can I mention who introduced us?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Imam Amin Muhammad and I, actually, prior to my introduction to Sabria, we talked about this and the benefit of combining the education that Allah has given us and the well-groundedness that Sabria has within just grassroots African American communities, and having the ear of our people and helping make it relatable to our people. So I always felt like that was an intention, and you could say like a dawah type intention, even ahead of our courtship, and it was you could say somewhat intentional. And I really think honestly that's what interests me most right now. Like those that probably knew me more in dean intensives and conferences and stuff, you don't see me there that often. Like most of my time is on the west side of Detroit, and if I'm traveling, usually I'm gonna try to travel to an underserved community. Like if Imam Amin invites me, I'm going. If it's down to like, indigenous people in Mexico, I'm going. If it's such and such mega mosque, I may go and I may not go. I'm not
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Alhamdulillah.
we definitely need you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I feel that this needs to be highlighted, because a lot of people are going into marriages with self-serving intentions. So I was trying to get to the alignment, what brought you guys here, like what would make this match aligned in that avenue. Now I'm gonna save some other stuff because I'm trying to get to some
There's
things.
so much more I could say too. There's a
Say
whole
it
lot.
again.
There's a
Say it
lot
again.
I could say. There's some I could say and
I'm
some I
sure.
couldn't say.
Hey, Shay, we know, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure, but I'm gonna save some of that stuff because y'all know this is what we do. It's our marriage, and we've been doing it. That's how you met us. We were doing our marriage work when you met us years ago.
That in Chicago, and Khalil Muhammad introduced us.
In Chicago.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
that.
and he was with
Yeah.
Jermaine too. You were with Jermaine.
Yeah, we drove down. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and so we've been doing this for years. So I really think it's important for people to see that, because I feel a lot of people are going into marriage with the wrong intentions, and they're not looking for how their marriage can build, how you can be aligned on a mission and can build, and it makes it so much easier when you have some sort of alignment. So just wanted to touch on that. I'm not going to beat a broken horse, but we'll
How you gonna beat a broken horse if it's already broke?
It's really broken in the Muslim community. So we don't
Can't just be beating stuff down.
We gonna get on to something else.
You sound violent.
Stop it. Okay, all right. So so we're in the blessed month of Rajab, and I want to talk about planting seeds in the community. But before we could do that, we got to talk about community. So let's define it. Let's talk about it, who it encompasses, and the responsibility of community. Because I think it's gotten twisted over the years.
SubhanAllah. I think that's a really loaded question in a sense, because I think we're still kind of defining it for ourselves, just collectively as people who are really trying to break the shackles and chains around like colonization and imperialism and oppression, and just kind of coming out of the shackles of that. So some of the ways it's been defined, I think, in this society may or may not fit our model, right? But I do think a collection of hearts, the theme, my husband, mashallah, the masjid where he serves as Dar al-Rahma, and they have a theme. Recently we did a gala and it was called Expanding the Love and the Light. And really that's kind of the principles I think we stand on, which is like community is about a collection or collective group of individuals that have the intention to lead with light and love, and really like just the binding of the hearts, connected for his sake, right? That to me is a community. And I mean, we're all striving and it's always a struggle, but that's really, mashallah, what we're trying to do. The baseline is love. As cheesy as it sounds, it can't move without it. So I didn't know if you, that's
very well said.
okay.
So as Sister Sabria said, Allah mentioned those who were with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who were used to support him. Allah said, وَأَلَّفَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِهِمْ. Allah brought their hearts together. So Allah knows best, but as she articulated very well, as Sabria articulated very well, community is hearts that have been brought together. And if we mean by that Muslim community, they're brought together and then they have, you could say, common goals related to pleasing Allah and His Messenger and working for Allah and His Messenger ideally. And you could say that's an aspiration. Where we are might be very different from that. Though additionally, we could also say, and I think we African American Muslims really need to give this thought, is what is our relationship with the wider Black community? And those communities that have preserved it well really have to be studied and held up as best practices. And those groups that have not maintained those ties well, should perhaps learn from the examples where those ties are retained, because we are part of, we're all part of families, we are part of neighborhoods, we're part of cities and communities. And that's within the Black community and beyond the Black community. But those that are closer have a greater right. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a long ways through his message, he still had tribesmen that were allies and supporters and were not ostensibly Muslim, like his uncle Abbas, who hid his Islam till the 8th year after the Hijrah, right? So that's almost, like 10 years after Hijrah, he's passing. So he was still embedded in the Meccan community, and he was Muslim, and we don't know exactly when he embraced Islam, but the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam retained his connection to them through that whole time. And he had active supporters among the non-Muslim family members and tribesmen. And it behooves us to maintain those. That's a way of dawah, and also just part of, being part of a healthy society.
Well, Islam is growing by leaps and bounds, and you have people everywhere that's coming to Islam. So
I like the fact that you're here, because my go-to was Imam Sarai. And because I first met him, we was on the plane, we was getting on the plane, and he like, is that Rufus and Jenny? I'm like, bro, how you know me? I should be saying, is that you? But alhamdulillah, like I said, for the Black communities, practicing the Sunnah, I'm just saying, alhamdulillah, man, like to have, I hope, may Allah make you and your wife a perfect or a good example for our communities. Again, to actually see what we could. I don't know, man. Like I just want more of us out there to be, because when they was coming to me, I'm like, I ain't the only one married out here. I ain't the only Black person married either. I ain't got to just keep coming to me. All right, I'm gonna be like, go to Shaykh Yayah now. Go to Shaykh Yayah. Excuse me.
Islam is growing by leaps and bounds, and everybody may not have, in a small town, may not have that benefit of community. And community looks different in Atlanta, New York, LA, Chicago, Philly, Detroit. It looks different for different people, but the people that are like on the outskirts of Islam, and they're growing as even just over this past year and a half or so, since Palestine has been under attack and more people are coming to Islam and different things like that.
We just took a couple of shahadas at the masjid.
How can they benefit from community when they don't really have one that they can go to or call their own?
SubhanAllah. So I mean, I think that, mashallah, we have a lot of options now. Mashallah, we do have a lot of like virtual spaces and virtual communities. And I know that does not take the place of live in person in the flesh. We want people to know it doesn't take the place of that, but it is there as an option. I do have a lot of people that are connected to my platform, the Dope Muslim Woman, and they live in states and places where they do not have a community. And they connect to virtual spaces, right? And so I know Shaykh Yayah, he streams a lot of his classes, and people from out of state, they connect. So that is definitely one way. It's kind of like tap in to people and to the resources that you have virtually. But in addition to that, I really think, like, I always often tell sisters this, because sometimes, I talk to a lot of sisters that end up being unmosqued, maybe because they had a rough divorce or a difficult situation, and they just don't want to be a part of community anymore. They may say they don't feel safe, etc. And I often say, like, sometimes you have to really cultivate the community within the stratospheres and what Allah has given you, right? Like for me, I maybe are surrounded by 3 or 4 amazing sisters or amazing brothers, and that can be how I can begin. And I have a skill set, and I can begin to create a space for that. So I think we all come into the room and space with our own skills and our own gifts. We need to learn how to kind of take the initiative to create the spaces, because a lot of times if you're struggling and you don't have something, you feel like you don't have community, other people are feeling the same way. So start something, create your own community, create your own space, and then connect, of course. Learn how to connect to something that is real. You know what I mean? I don't know if you want to add to that when it comes to community.
Bismillah. It's excellent to by correspondence have relationships, and that could be through streaming or what have you. However, in addition to that, people should visit. They should visit. It's very, very hard to practice Islam alone, and most people cannot do it well. And
I couldn't agree with you more.
That is definitely and one of the reasons, as far as the question is concerned, because we know people who are saying I want to be Muslim, or even we have people like in our Facebook network and different things like that. Like, I've been studying, I've been thinking about it, but they don't have any Muslims around them. They don't have, anything.
Man, I just keep going back to this 15-year-old boy who, I mean, he was in his family, and he was around Islam, but nobody was really teaching him. So it really, we got, as a community, inshallah, we are, like you said, sis, we are getting better. But yeah, he didn't have anything. When we came, we was wave coming from Atlanta going to Philly, and Philly got a community up there. But he wasn't getting what he needed.
Well, I think in certain instances, like, people learn differently. 100. And even with us, when we started going to masjids here over so many years ago, like, the first couple didn't resonate with us. Just you didn't, you have to feel your way. And thankfully we do have options. Like, if something isn't resonating, you can go somewhere else and, like, okay, yeah, it clicks over here. This is where I feel welcome, comfort. This is where I learn, because people learn differently. And if you have someone that's in the masjid, an imam or different things like that, and they're teaching from a certain way, but it's not connecting with you, that doesn't mean that you have to be stuck. But in those instances where small towns or people, out communities, they don't have those options.
Yeah, because I connect with you and Siraj like a Mickey.
Yeah, they don't have those options. So that really brings me to, like, the next question, because things have really changed over the years, especially here in Atlanta. And we have been around and in and out different communities, like the ones that I mentioned, in different cities. And Atlanta has now upwards of 90 masjids, 90 masjids. Not to say that it's not needed, because it has grown. It has grown. People
we need more.
Yeah, migrated here and different things like that. But
everybody be outside, it be raining. We need some more messages around here.
But with the growth, it also seems like we're more divided. So I'm not sure Sabria, if you were around when we all used to come together for Eids, like down at the old city hall, or
those were the good old days
at Lakewood, or even at the train depot downtown, when we used to, everybody used to come together, you know, as far as the messages. And now it seems like it's more like mini Eids in, you know, in different pockets and places and different things with varying school of thoughts, you know, not just the 4 school of thoughts. But more,
well, we do Islam too.
Yeah, but more school of thoughts, okay, and opinions, and not just school, and opinions. So how can you unite? Not saying you.
She loading you another question here.
I'm not saying you personally, but just thinking about you as a worker in the community. Okay, so how can you unite an ummah that's distinctly divided?
Oh my goodness, that is such a big question. That is such a big question.
I told you she was loading it up.
I told you we had some things to talk
about. So my husband's a teacher, so keep that.
Yeah, bismillah. Yeah, she's saying I'm being too long-winded. Okay. Well,
I'll tap him.
Oh, and
she gonna tap out.
So
that's enough. That's enough.
Y'all
that's
so
enough.
crazy.
So if I can pivot the question a little bit and say, each of us can aspire to be more and more unified and unifying. And the main thing that comes between communities is diseases within hearts that allow us to have enmity, allow us to have envy, allow us to have bad intent, and so on. And the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he said, the disease of nations before you has crept into you. Al-hasad wal-baghdha, envy and enmity. And enmity is a razor. And I don't mean a razor for hair, but rather a razor for the religion, meaning that it strips a person of religion when they have enmity towards others. And he said, I swear by the one in whose hand is my soul, you will not enter paradise until you believe, and you will not believe until you love one another. Can I show you something that if you do it, you'll love one another, spread peace among yourselves? And that he said, Afshu salam bainakum. And from the meanings of salam is al-aman, to make people feel safe, or give people safety, security from harm from you, and coming from your tongue, from your hand, or what have you. Yeah.
Man, you just gave me security with that. I'm secure already.
I'm trying to think, do I need to tap you? She's gonna
I'm
tap you. Do I need to tap you? Okay. All right. So yeah, we're definitely understanding that, and that also brings us into the next question, because envy, jealousy, enmity, it also spills over into arrogance and, you know, all kinds of other ills. Okay, so before seeds can be planted, because we're talking about planting the seeds, right? Before we plant the seeds, you got to pull the weeds. The weeds got to come out. So farmers know that you weed and seed, and there's a lot of weeding that needs to be going on right now.
Yeah,
we know we're not everybody's cup of tea, because we're a little real for some people.
I'm everybody's cup of tea.
You are so
yes,
not.
I am.
You are so not. Okay,
I beg to differ.
Yeah, we're a little real for some people, and you know, I've had people, you know, tell me, well, sister, why'd you say it like that? Because it's the truth, and I know truth hurts in a lot of ways. You know, sometimes
I don't know how to speak nothing but the truth,
and I can't be responsible for a lot of people's triggers. So whatever triggers you, because because the truth is being said, I can't be responsible for that. That's just it. So let's identify.
I'm not responsible if you didn't like what I said.
Yeah. So let's identify
He told me speak the truth. Excuse me.
A few of the weeds that are ailing communities. And if you miss one, I'll chime in. I know we already talked about the envy and enmity, but what are some other weeds that are ailing communities?
Like envy. Envy definitely is a big one.
Yeah, envy.
We'll talk to some advice.
You better say marriage.
Well, I think we're looking at it from the principle, like from
we're talking
like
vices. I mean, honestly, if we want to list problems, we could really list problems. But
we need to. That's what Shaykh.
Yeah, okay.
Shaykh, where do you think this ain't Judge Judy? Where'd you come today? Let's listen. Let's
say,
talk about it.
At the top of the list, I would say ignorance. And then also,
that's a good
one. We have our people and what we've been through. We have a lot of scars that we have to work on, and probably one of the highest things on the list that I think about is that we have generations that haven't really had proper rearing. Sometimes, I mean, there are really a lot of very beautiful families in our communities, but there are also a lot of people that had very traumatic childhoods or dysfunctional childhoods, and they were not completely reared. So they might be 20, 30, 40, but really in terms of their development, they're more like, someone is elementary school or middle school. And especially I feel that, the ability to rear and graduate males into manhood, that's one of the crises of the modern age. And then that leads to a crisis in marriage, which will lead to then perpetuation of crisis in families. And then, all kind of stuff. You want to say violence, you want to say drugs, you want to say promiscuity, you want to say crime. I mean, any of the ailments that are in the broader society.
Well, yes, and I don't think a lot of people, like some messages don't talk about it, or I say some imams don't talk about it. Some do. If you get maybe a guest imam that'll come in and talk about it, but Imam Siraj, this is one thing that we resonated with Imam Siraj and different things, because he always talked about the ills with Black Americans, African Americans, and how that just because you become Muslim, that doesn't go away. That is still. And with us being
alhamdulillah, Islam helps it though.
It helps it, but a lot of people still struggle. And with us being Gen X, we're one generation out of the crack era with the crack generation. So we are actually sandwiched between having, being out of that crack generation and dealing with some of the things that we've dealt with, and also trying to raise healthy our children are millennials. A lot of people our age may have gen.
These are the things that change, boy. That's what he said.
They may have
change boys into men.
Gen Z, but our children are millennial. Our boys are millennials. So raising healthy children, out of that, but they still get to see that generation before us and the things that have come along and things that we've had to deal with that generation. So I really feel that comes into communities, Muslims having to deal with the same things and no solutions. No solutions. You can go to masjid, and we get contacted by numerous people, and we'll say, well, my masjid doesn't provide, or they don't have anything for this, or I don't have anyone I could talk to. I don't have anything to go to. So I feel like the lack of resources, in that regards. So that brings me to my next question.
Can I just say though, lack of resources and awareness. I think we're just now becoming aware of some of these things. So it's almost been like I don't have to address it because I don't think it's an issue. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, right.
That's true, sis.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Okay.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Sure.
How are we defining?
Hold on.
How are we defining?
I gotta get on the couch for this one.
Wait a minute. Okay, hold on.
Any of you all can answer.
Okay.
How are we defining Generation X and millennials?
Oh, okay. Generation X is 1960, I believe, until 1976 or 75.
Okay.
Okay,
And after that is millennial?
And then after
Our
that is
children are
millennial.
millennial?
14 years after that, are millennials. So the oldest Gen X this year will
be. Are you saying are we after crack, or are we squarely with crack?
We're Gen
I'm
X.
Generation X too, first of all.
Gen X is after crack.
Oh, I distinctly remember it hitting the neighborhood.
Well, it was during.
Yes, it was during our time.
You mean we came of age after?
Exactly. We're one generation after crack.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
That was devastating.
So
could I bounce us back a little bit more too?
Sure.
Can I? I'm sorry.
No.
Hey, Shaykh, you can do. Hey, Shaykh Yayah, you can do whatever you want.
You know, the crack the crack poisoning of our community. You know, I believe that followed our uprisings in the civil rights movement, and that was deliberate. And our community went through the assassination and incarceration of a generation of leadership.
Exactly.
So we had a generation of leadership removed.
Yeah.
Then we have the crack era and Reaganomics. So how many of us lost friends and brothers? How many were killed? How many were incarcerated? And how many were driven insane? And then, like on our, I don't want to say what street, but right around our masjid, we have babies raising babies.
Right.
There'll be like 3 generations in the house.
Right.
And the grandmother's young grandmother Sabria's age. You know what I mean? And that's, so we've been through a lot. We've been through a lot. And
my girl took it back a little bit.
Okay, so Zakiya wanted to give us the Gen X. Said 65 to 80, and the millennials is 1996 and up. But the oldest Gen X this year will be 60. So if you think about that, the civil rights movement, how long ago that was? They were just being born or babies during the civil rights movement. And so coming of age like in the crack era.
Yeah.
So this is what there's still a lot of work to do, but like Sabria is saying, that there needs to be more awareness. And even the awareness that we bring when we have our talks and do marriage workshops and different things like that.
That little bit that we bring.
Stop.
We a little tiny speck on here.
The awareness that we bring, people are still in denial of that. Of the situations that have brought us to this. And I think part of that reasoning is because once you admit it, then you're responsible for it and you have to do something about it. So I really feel that's it. So now we're going to talk about the seeding and what needs to be planted by whom in order to start getting these gardens to grow.
SubhanAllah. I'll start. I definitely feel like just pivoting off of what you just mentioned in regards to the awareness piece. And like you said something so powerful, where it's like once you become aware, you become responsible. And then in some of our therapeutic models, we always say that awareness is half the battle, because again, that component, once you know, once you are aware, once you are conscious, I'm sure we can align that spiritually. You once you reach the age of accountability, you are now accountable and responsible. So I think like that is a really important seed to plant. Some of the work, mashallah, that I feel like I am most connected to is in the work of just waking people up. And a lot of what this society has done to us, as you guys mentioned, the crack epidemic and strategic moves such as that, is intentionally targeting us to put us back to sleep. It is to enslave our mindsets. Okay, maybe our bodies, quote unquote, are not enslaved, even though that's arguable based on the prison industrial complex. But the mindset, and if the mindset, how are you going to enslave a group of people? You numb them out. You know what I mean? You make them really unaware. You make them believe that certain type of political leaders are going to save them, right? Or whatever the delusions are. So I think it really starts with awareness. We need people in our community, such as yourselves, people who are willing to be authentic and honest. We also need people who are deeply connected to our tradition. If we're talking about the Muslim community, those who are willing to be educated. I heard a beautiful reminder. My husband reminded me of it recently from Sheikh Ubaidullah Evans. And he mentioned, he was given actually advice to our community. He said, one of the things that we absolutely need to do is we have to learn our faith for ourselves. We have to learn our tradition for ourselves so that someone else doesn't tell us exactly what, because that's really, that's what I remember just as a second generation Muslim, is that someone would come from overseas that really wasn't from our community, didn't really know our pathology and our history, teaching us what Islam was. And we kind of hosh-posh that. And a lot of us came out of that not really knowing some of the fundamentals of faith. So I think that is something extremely important. Like we have to take that a lot more serious, which is really learning our faith and having a good awareness of our current condition.
Sheikh, before you say something, because you look like you ready, you ready to jump in. Before you say something,
put me in, coach. Put me in, coach.
I just want to say something as far as what she said in regards to people always wanting to come and say something. Now, I'm going to say something in regards to the mass contract that they just had, the African American track that they just had at MassCon. There, even though that was like labeled like an African American track, if the full and totality and the whole of the community wanted to learn more in regards to what we struggle with and what we go through as African Americans, and maybe I'll just say our learning perspective, then more people would attend. But when you get things that are labeled just African American, and this is us, with observation over the years and working in and out of different communities, then people feel that you're segmenting yourself and that Islam is for everybody and there's no labels and a Muslim is a Muslim and different things like that. And I'll go on further to say that the work that we have done over the years, I have seen our words, our work, that we stopped doing videos at one point because I said, if somebody else take what I say or what I've done, for like their communities, not necessarily,
take it and as if they came up with it.
Exactly. And it's exactly instead of
Allah knows best.
Instead of us bringing us in to do the work, they will take what we've said, what we've done, our blueprint, our plan, whatever, and take it and present it to their communities. So in that same turn, I don't feel as if you're saying that we're all Muslim and not segmented, why is it that only you can present to your community, but you can't bring us in to present and
the same way we have sheikhs come into the masjid, different sheikhs come from all over. It's the same way I feel we should have people going into other communities to teach what they have.
Right. But Sheikh, I'm sure you don't have that problem
though. You'd be surprised.
I think you should tell the truth.
Tell the truth, shame the devil.
Should tell the truth.
What the who going on?
Tell the truth, shame
you
the
don't
devil.
want to that's a trigger warning for me. So frankly speaking, I'm going to answer this anecdotally. Okay. I have a very, very good friend that I believe is one of the most intelligent scholars of our age, though, he and we, if we're together, we'll call ourselves seekers of knowledge, Sheikh Ibrahim Osiefa. And we were touring in England and we were watching the YouTube chats and someone asked, who is this black man speaking? And someone said, he's a very important scholar, and I don't see him as black. I see him as a beautiful white man.
Ooh.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
So frankly speaking, there's a profound racism, unfortunately, in the Western Islamic community. And granted, those are the British Isles.
Okay. Hold up.
Frankly, there's racism. And it's and those of us that have that Allah gives knowledge and skills and talents, we really have to invest in our own community. I mean, African American people, we have to invest in our communities. We cannot allow ourselves to become Sambos on a Muslim show.
100.
And I think we should really fight the brain drain that occurs, because if they pull us to stages that are not relevant to us or for us, or our people are not welcomed as complete members,
100.
it strips a lot of the talent from our community. I believe there's an implicit humiliation. There's a lack of dignity there. And frankly, it's, we could go on, but it steered the trajectory of the American Islamic movement off course. You have a huge body, the largest body of converts in the Western Hemisphere, African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
If we're interested in dawah and we're in the Western Hemisphere, we have to invest and be interested in the African American community. And by that, I mean, when I say we here, I mean we Muslims. If a Muslim is interested in the spread of Islam in the Western Hemisphere, they've got to be interested in the African American community. And those of us that are African American, we have to really be careful of allowing our talent to be siphoned off, or allowing ourselves just to be a novelty or a fetish or a sideshow or a Sambo at someone's conference. And we're going to have to be willing to just depend on Allah rather than people's resources, willing to tell people they could do what they could do with their money, and also willing just to be patient with our people and with our circumstances, and serve. And you will find people of all ethnicities that will rock with you.
Okay, I'm gonna sum it up for y'all.
I ain't gonna say these two big companies that I chose not to deal with. A lot of Muslim communities would know them, but by Allah, I'm not gonna even put them out there. But my point was, I ain't your Sambo. I ain't the entertainment.
I'm
like,
summarize what the Sheikh said for y'all who don't know, who's listening. Like, what is he? Is he saying this? Is he saying that? He's saying don't go chasing waterfalls. That's what he said. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Okay, yeah. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. So we are going to get into our couples card game, but before we do,
and they was offering a lot of money too.
I'm having
flashbacks.
You having PTSD?
And I sure land.
Right. Okay.
I just want to give one seed, one more seed for Rajab.
Okay.
Say a lot of astaghfirullah.
Oh yeah.
One of the ways you plant seeds in Rajab is say a lot of astaghfirullah.
Child, I've been saying it over the past 11 years.
It's one of the medicines for healing the human heart.
Yeah, over the 11 years. I'm just saying.
I can be by myself.
I'm just saying, Sheikh. When you see your stuff that you done put your blood, sweat, tears, heartache, creativity. You done been up at 3:00 in the morning, prepping and different things like that or whatever, and then you see somebody come along and be like, "That's my stuff."
Well, they know your worth. They know your worth. Even the company I'm talking about, but they just didn't want to come correct.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
They didn't want to pay us, and they didn't want to. They didn't want us speaking.
Oh, who having PSTD now?
Who?
PTSD, whatever it is.
All right. Well, before we get into our couples card game, tell the people how they can get in touch with you guys.
Oh gosh, do you want that?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so definitely. Okay, so I'm gonna plug me first, if that's okay. Yeah, so the Dope Muslim Woman podcast. MashaAllah, we are featured on YouTube, Facebook, all those places, audio podcasts. We are now in season 8. Our next podcast comes on next week, inshallah. So we'll give more information, and it's called My African Husband. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram under the Dope Muslim Woman podcast.
Just search Dar El Rahma. Whether it's darrahma.org or Dar Rahma Detroit, DARAL-RAHMA, not MAH. And we're on the west side of Detroit. Visit. You're most welcome to visit. And inshallah ta'ala, we'll connect virtually and physically, inshallah ta'ala. People are most welcome.
Okay.
We coming.
The Sheikh said he Google-licious. Okay. All right, so we're gonna get into our couples card game. Mr. Allen, can y'all see it? Surviving marriage, couples card game, and it's 3 categories. It's for better or for worse,
Okay.
richer for poor, in sickness and in health. And I'm just gonna take a random card. Just randomly, not setting you up for nothing. So just randomly, okay? All right. So this is this is for better or for worse.
Okay.
And I know y'all are young into this, but have you ever felt taken advantage of by your spouse?
Oh my goodness. I think okay, I'm gonna answer it. I definitely feel like that's human when you're in any type of relationship, especially intimate relationship, where you will feel that at some point in time. And so I feel like perhaps maybe I might have felt it, but I will say that it was definitely for something small, maybe for like a chore. So like it was definitely something really small. And I think, mashallah, one thing I could say about my husband, which I'm grateful for, alhamdulillah, is that we have really good communication. Like even though we are very much polar opposites, we are not alike at all. We have really good communication.
No, we're very alike.
No, he says we're not alike. We're not alike. We don't see the world.
We are not alike.
Well,
one of these things do not belong.
Well, opposites attract, and commonalities are, like a different track. But Shaykh, your response?
Taken advantage of? No, I haven't. I feel taken care of.
So he's trying to get cool.
I'm not.
He's trying to get cool points.
Well, I was taking advantage of.
Stop it. But this ain't about you. This ain't about you.
I'm having PSTD again.
Excuse me. We have a show. We have a show to do. Okay. All right.
I'm back.
Thank you guys so much for being here. This has been very enlightening. And I want to have you back because as we started out, I wanted to get into some other things, but I had to get to this part because this was like, like the nuts.
You're going to have to invite him back, and you had to give a whole cookbook
and everything. And we look forward. We probably would have been in Detroit by now, but we've had a lot going on. So we look forward to coming.
Well, we saw that y'all had some cold weather and snow, and I said,
it's really cold today.
It's in the 20s.
It's in the 20s.
It was in the 20s here when we woke up.
Yeah, but up north it's a different type of cold.
Well, she knows because you're from the D. You're from the D.
No, she act like she don't know.
Well,
I know what that code is up there.
I grew up in Saginaw. He grew up in Flint, so I'm not exactly sure why he's acting like
it was cold.
What did you say, Shaykh?
I've heard a lot about that community.
Flint? Flint?
Good. No, Saginaw.
Saginaw. Yeah. I grew up in Saginaw. Yeah.
The Muslim house in Flint?
The Muslim, yeah. But his uncle was the imam, but it was the Flint Masjid when he was there, when he was growing up. But his uncle was the imam of the masjid.
Imam Hanafi and all of the imams.
Oh yeah. We know that family. Sister Iris, his wife. Yeah, we know them. Okay. Wow. But we appreciate it. And we're gonna bring you guys back maybe next season when I decide what we're gonna do, because we're gonna get into some other.
He might not have it on his schedule.
Me and the Shaykh like this.
We got a heavy schedule around here.
Me and the Shaykh like this. We
do be rolling.
We communicate. Okay.
You guys are hilarious, mashallah.
God bless you all. I needed some uplifting company this afternoon. I had a lot on my mind. Thank you.
We were doing heavy community work before this, so we really appreciate this, mashallah. And so alhamdulillah, this really does lighten the mood for us.
Alhamdulillah. We look forward to seeing you guys when we come to Detroit. Hopefully
absolutely welcome.
Inshallah, hopefully soon. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Allah safekeeping.
Okay. All right. We will be right back with your food for thought. Hold what you got.
Food for thought. Food for thought.
Wasn't our guest just pleasant?
I wanted to hear the cook by.
Yeah, okay. When your support doesn't go past social media, is it really support? Okay. Social media has changed over time. Now, we've been a part of social media since 2007, 2008.
The 99 and the 2000.
No, that's way before that. That was maybe MySpace or Black Planet or yeah, before that.
I remember what was that net zero?
Yeah, some folks were just happy to be on Facebook connecting with old classmates. Then folks figured out like, ooh, I can make some money. I can make some money with this, and ran away with the pot. I mean, people making 6-7 figures from social media. Then all of these apps started popping up, and the algorithm started changing, and the superficial set in.
That's because they were making too much money.
And if you're doing something creative as a business, event, etc., and different things like that, your social media circle doesn't support you offline, is that really support? Is that really support? And that's something, the question I get with people, and I have to tell them, because I do have people, social media clients and different things like that. And I said, that's something that you have to discern for yourself. You have to proceed accordingly and decide what type of support that is for you. Okay. That's the food for thought for today. And yeah. Now, how you guys can support us. Support is free. Like, share, comment. That's free.99. Support is free. We just talked about that, right? And support is a verb. Okay. So like, share, comment, that kind of thing. Follow us on social media. At Rufus and Jenny Houston. At Rufus and Jenny across social media, on Facebook, Surviving Marriage Podcast, on Instagram, Surviving Marriage, and YouTube at Rufus and Jenny TV. You guys can buy our couples card game at survivingmarriagetips.com. Couples card game. And we have a new card game coming 2025. Hopefully, if our lives stay the way they need to be, right?
The 99 and the 2000.
The way that they need to be. And inshallah, we will be doing wonderful things. One episode left. Whew, one episode left. All right. You ready to ride here?
I ain't ready to go to Detroit yet.
Yeah. Why not?
I had to wait till the summer.
No. How we gonna test out the
I don't do cold.
How we gonna test out the new tires? How we gonna test out
the
new tires? Who said
I want to test out some tires? You want me to go to Detroit just to test some tires?
Yeah, or Colorado. Take your pick.
Neither one.
You ready to ride?
I'm going wherever the Shaykh go.
Remember, marriage is a marathon, not a sprint. We're surviving it, and so can you.
And we are Rufus and Jenny. Until the next episode, y'all be cool.
We'll be men and wives.